David Miller, the enigma, the one player that we all know has an abundance of ability, someone that is seen by many as the star batsman in South African side, the guy that we want to hold our middle order together, and the guy that we want to see bat explosively, take us over the line when we're chasing, or take us to a total that is unreachable. So many things we would like for David Miller. He's a fan favorite, and we all know about Miller time. But the big question currently, in South African cricket is currently the batting lineup. And one of those issues is what is the best batting position for David Miller in the T20 lineup? So I thought, why don't we discuss this? We touched on it briefly in our review of the second T20. You can check that on our channel. It is available for all of you guys to watch. But I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about this on our daily show today. So stay tuned because we are going to be talking about this. Subscribe if you're new, guys. Click that notification bell for all future videos. Let's smash that like button, comment, share, and do all of those things so that we can go into the recommended feeds on YouTube. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's talk about David Miller. Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid Mohidin. This is Aditya, and we're here to talk about all the major talking points in South African cricket. And today we're going to be talking about David Miller and the best batting position for David and where he's had his success. Now, earlier today, we had a little review and we spoke about David. I'm just going to show you some of the stats that we revealed over there. So we've got David's overall figures in T20I internationals, and you can see the way his career has went. Starting off with this 9 runs over a year, this is obviously filtered now. 2018 to 2021. I've tried to filter it over the last 2 years since that last massive century that he scored not so long ago. So I've taken it from here and I've already gone down the ranks just to check what his form has been recently. Now, David has batted a lot of times in the 5 and the 6 position. And sometimes over here, you can see there's a 4 and a 3 and a 2 in between. But majority of his innings have come in the 5 and 6 position. Now, his average over the last 2 years or so, you can say 3 maybe, in 27 matches has been 28.61. And his strike rate has been 134.11. His overall average in T20 cricket has been 29 at an average of 75. And he scored 1 century in that time and 3 50s. So an interesting return from David Miller. Something some of us might say that he's underachieved. Some may say that he is doing just fine, because how can you expect a guy that's batting 6 or 5 and 6 to consistently score half centuries, because he has a little time to do so. So those are things that we can have a look at. It's very interesting. The column over here that says minutes, that's very important too, to see how many minutes he had and how many balls he faced to score the runs. That will give you an indication of how he has been doing. Now, this 65, for example, that you can see over here against Pakistan in Johannesburg in February 2019, he only faced 29 balls to get there, right? And he was 51 minutes at the crease. So an excellent innings over there from him, 5 fours and 5 sixes and 4 fours, and a strike rate of 224. This is the type of David Miller that you would like to see, and it's something that we'd all want to see. And yet he batted at 4 in this occasion. So one of his best innings in the last 2 years came batting at 4. Then you can look over here, then the next half century that he scored, this one came at batting at 6. Scored 85 not out, recently against Pakistan. So he played that type of role at the end of the innings. Obviously, he was at the crease for quite some time, though. He was over an hour, a lot longer at the crease than he was there for his 65, and he faced a lot more balls too. So ultimately, his strike rate was 188, and he was batting at 6 in that position. So those are the stats that I can show you based his overall career. Then, of course, these are the stats in his different positions. Now, right at the top, I've tried to orchestrate it from 4, 5, and 6 in the middle of the year. So to read it out over here, we've got him batting five times in the number 4 position, and his average is 26. Over here, I've got it for you as 15 times in the number 5 position, his average is 26. And then in the number 6 position, we've got him over here. I didn't get his average for you, but you can see that he scored 85 not out and 19 not out over here. So his averages in all positions are kind of very similar. His performances have been pretty similar. But his biggest scores have come in the 2 positions that he hasn't batted regularly in, which is crazy if you look at it from that perspective. So let's go a little bit more. Let's talk a little bit more about this. I'm going to get Aditya's thoughts on what he thinks on these particular stats that we've been talking about. I don't want to be talking about ODI cricket right now. I think that's something that we can maybe talk about when we play Ireland. Aditya, your thought on the stats that you've seen in regards to David Miller, and what position you think is probably the best for him?
On the team sheet, I'd have him at 5, but then it depends on where the game is at and where the game is headed. We also need to look at David Miller's strengths and weaknesses as a batsman to really ascertain what situation is ideal for him to really come in. For example, I'm not sure you want David Miller starting against spin. If there's a fast bowler coming on, David Miller would probably find it easier to get off the mark when there's a fast bowler bowling, as opposed to when there's a spinner bowling, because that's where he's a bit more comfortable. So I think that's a decision for the team management to take. But in an ideal scenario, I'd have him at 5, and then whatever the match situation dictates. And another reason is that you have to look at who's come in before and after. Right now there's not a lot of cushion at 6 and 7 because Dwayne Pretorius is injured and Klassen hasn't been performing. And before that, he's got Rassie. So if you have Rassie and David Miller at the crease at the same time, then that to me is the perfect situation for South Africa.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's why I think he's going to be a massive asset for us in the World Cup, because with the World Cup being where it is, hopefully the conditions are balanced. I'm hoping, because I think in balanced conditions, South Africa will be able to have a better chance in balanced conditions than if it's a spinning track or it's a specific swing bowling track. I think South Africa in a neutral ground, if they can create an environment in the UAE where it's neutral ground, where everybody has a fair game, then I think South Africa really have a massive chance. But even if it is a spinning track, David Miller, I think if it's a spinning track, maybe David Miller should bat higher up. Maybe you can bring in the likes of Aiden Markram if he's in your top 6, if he's one of your guys that you want him to be picked, or even a Yanaman Malan if he's in your top 6, then at least you can maybe bring up David Miller higher up in the order, because he's a lot better against spin. As Harshit said over here, Miller is a murderer of spin. If he gets set, plays 15 plus balls. So that's his interpretation.
We're talking about starting. Because even here, there's a comment here that he has a better strike rate against spin. That may be true, but there are certain players who are not comfortable starting against spin. In stats that Khalid just showed right now, when David Miller was playing against Pakistan in Johannesburg, that pitch is tailor-made for fast bowlers. He was able to get to that strike rate of 224 for precisely that reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so starting against spin is also very important, because when his eye's in, he can virtually hit anything. That's David Miller that we know. So it's about getting the right people around him. I think Quinton de Kock and David Miller are 2 prize assets, because they're probably the most attacking batsmen in the team, and they need to put players around them that can protect them, that can make sure that they're batting at the best parts of the innings. So I agree with you, Aditya, 100%, because it's something that I said earlier on. I think South Africa should be picking a team and bringing out players according to what they need for that conditions. We've got a super chat from Abai. Thanks a lot, Abai, for giving us a super chat. He can both accumulate and open when needed. So that's my point. South Africa need to pick the most versatile batsmen that they can find heading into the World Cup. Guys that are able to adapt their game according to match situations. So that's very important that he does that. Do you know much about his career in the IPL, Aditya? Can you give us some insight maybe into David Miller's career into the IPL? In what batting positions he's basically been favoured when he was at the Kings 11 Punjab before he moved over to the Rajasthan Royals? You muted, bro.
Yeah, I think his best position in the IPL with Kings 11 Punjab was when he was batting at 4 or 5. If a couple of years ago when he had that incredible season along with Glenn Maxwell, their partnership was key to taking Kings 11 Punjab to the final. And it's generally number 4, number 5 that really work for Miller. And he's done exceedingly well, but there's also that thing of continuity, right? He was celebrated as the most capped South African in T20 cricket with 82 caps. It's been 12 years in getting 82 caps, so there's not a lot of continuity. So clearly, the team has obviously changed from what it was 12 years ago. The roles have changed, players have changed, batting positions have changed. Whereas in the IPL, there's a little more continuity because it was only up until recently where generally David Miller was considered to be a fixture in IPL teams. So he had more of an opportunity to get himself into some sort of rhythm, which international cricket may not always offer, unless there's a World Cup opponent.
You know what's interesting to me, because I can understand why he was batting so low when AB de Villiers was there and Faf du Plessis, and we had Amla, and we had all these great JP Dumini, we had all these great players that were batting in that middle order. And David Miller was kind of the younger guy coming through the system. So obviously the youngster was pushed down the order maybe. But he's consistently batted there for South Africa for many years. So it's almost like they see him as that batsman, 5'6". That's where they see him bat. And that's where they think that is the right position for him. So even though the roles have changed and players have left and other new players have come in, he's remained in that positions. They haven't thought about maybe, pushing him up to 4 and making him that guy. Rassie kind of took that position. When Faf came, Faf was batting 3, and, there's all those situations that we've had before, but Miller's kind of kept his spot in that lineup and in that position. So it's easy for us to sit here and just say, look here, David must bat 4, but we need to see what Mark Boucher and the coaches think. What do the selectors think? You need to know what they are thinking as well, and whether they trust him in that position or not. So, guys, let's see. I'm very interested to see what South Africa do in tomorrow's game. What the batting lineup will be like. Whether we will bat first or second, that's also interesting. Because I think if we're batting first, I think we'll get a better understanding of what we actually think our players are like. Any final words from you, Aditya?
Yeah, I'm a huge David Miller fan, and I really want him to do well, whether it's the IPL or whether that's for South Africa. And I hope that he gets a long run at whatever position he's set for him. In my view, 5 would be ideal in T20 cricket. And I hope that he has a cushion, with 6 and 7, so that he can really free his arm and he doesn't have to worry about the consequences of him getting out cheaply. So that to me is the most important. It's important to give him that security so that we can get the best out of him.
Yeah, I'd actually put Markram at 6 and have him at 5. And then I have that cushion behind him in case a situation happens where Markram can come out swinging. And I'm hoping that Markram will be able to play that type of role in T20 cricket. Obviously, in ODI cricket, I would like Markram to face a lot more balls than he normally does. We hope they win the toss. That's the thing. I remember before Faf du Plessis used to bring new guys to come take the toss for them, etc. So let's see what happens. Guys, I just want to say we have a big day for us tomorrow. It's been 2 years since we started Cricket Fanatics Magazine. So tomorrow's our 2-year-old birthday, our second birthday. So it's a big day for us tomorrow. Really excited about it. I'm very happy that all of you guys will be able to share it with us. So I hope you guys tune in on our streams, etc., and give us a little bit of a birthday present tomorrow. We've got plenty of things available. You can give us super chats. You can get involved with coming into the comment section. Just spread it with all your friends. Let everybody come and watch us and see what Cricket Fanatics Magazine is about. I mean, that would be an excellent present from all of us. But thanks a lot to everybody out there. Thank you for all the support that you've given us for so long. We're going to continue to try to bring you the best possible content that we can do on YouTube on South African cricket. And I hope you guys will continue to support us and enjoy what we can bring into you. Don't forget to download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics Magazine. And also just subscribe. You'll get all the other copies you'll get for absolutely free, the back issues. Everything is 100% free. No catch involved whatsoever. All we ask is for your support. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow with another daily show, and I hope you enjoy your evening. Take care, everyone.